had virtually every aspect of this industry represented. You have buyers, you have sellers, you have producers, you have transporters, they're servicing the industry. You have financial institutions, again, they're servicing the industry.
The Shea industry is a very unstructured industry.
We have to work together.
We are the only company which does the maximum value addition within Africa. So for us, it is important to know who are the people involved in the value chain. It's extremely important that we meet them, we engage them, define our expectations to them, at the same time understand them also and understand their expectation.
Over 280 people registered officially, and we've counted more than 400 people from over 22 different countries. We have the Prime Minister of Mali, the US Ambassador to Mali, so many different speeches, presentations, a little trade show. The shea tree grows only in sub-Saharan Africa and all across its zone. This is the only natural oil or fat found in the area and has been used traditionally for hundreds, if not thousands of years.
You're saying this work is really hard. They have to go out and collect all of the nuts by hand on the ground. They fall from the tree like figs. They've been doing this since they were children. They go out and they help their mothers collect the shea nuts. Then their moms taught them how to boil them and dry them in the sun. Once they're dried, they pound them to de-shell them, and then once that happens, they beat it with their hands. They beat with their hands, and it's really, really hard.
This is the mainstay of millions of women's lives. Traditionally, the women are collecting the nuts to make an oil for cooking. It's used for making moisturizing creams, it's used for making soap, it's used for making medicine. More recently, companies like the Body Shop, L'Occitane are buying handcrafted butter made by the women in the villages here for use in natural cosmetics. This means value addition lands here in Africa. It's one place where they can actually bring cash into the system. And if you ask many of the women here, what do they use this cash for? They'll use it for feeding their family, they'll use it for educating their children.
Saying it's important that people come and buy their products so they can have money for their children, so their children can go to school, and so they can have money for themselves and their families.
But this is a niche market.
Something that the Body Shop feels quite strongly about, and I can't quite work out what's missing here.
When we look at the shea industry, we see a paradox, we see a situation where whilst we are trading in a product and we think we're trading in a very fair way, we see that there are 4 million women throughout West Africa that don't enjoy that same relationship with their market. Shea is an absolutely fantastic ingredient for us, especially for our deep moisturizing body butters. It's really the thing that holds it all together. But the amount of artisanally produced butter for all the cosmetic companies that are using it around the world is relatively very small compared to the trade in shea kernels.
Simply put, 90% of the shea consumption in Europe, North America and Asia, the end users do not know you exist.
Over the last 50, 100 years, there's been this growing market for exports of nuts to Europe, to Asia. They're buying the nuts, they're processing it into what we call specialty fats. These are fats that are used in the European chocolate industry for making cocoa butter equivalents. They're used for making ice creams, margarines, in pastries, in biscuits, virtually invisibly. Very few consumers around the world are seeing the shea every day. So there's a growing concern that although we recognize the butter production is important and is a great commodity, that the bulk of the crop is being ignored. Now what we want to do is to turn the spotlight onto this crop and see where these nuts are coming from and see the products that they produce.
Standing here on behalf of Wilmar, I would like to give a commitment to the stakeholders of this forum that we are very committed to this industry.
Now, the unique way which Wilmar works in West Africa is that we are the only company in Africa which converts the shea nuts into shea stearin, shea butter and shea oil, which is mainly for the confectionery industry.
The foreign exchange earnings from selling shea stearin, olein, shea butter, is at least 3 times that of selling nuts.
Up until the last 5 or 6 years, nearly all the companies that were working with shea nuts were buying through many different intermediaries, local buying agents and traders who would often buy as cheap as they could from the women and then sell it on to these buying companies who would take all of the shea nuts abroad for the processing.
We need a better quality, and of course we have to be prepared to pay a higher price.
This is now changing. We're seeing companies working very, very closely with cooperatives and associations of women and traders in the region to ensure that the full value is reaching the pickers. And then with factories in the region, there's additional value through employment.
It's very difficult for industrial processors like us to go to the village level and directly work with the women. We as an organization cannot engage 20, 30,000 of women directly. But what we can do is that if there are organizations within these countries which are ready to say that we work for, let's say, the Malian woman or we work for the Burkina Faso woman, then we can associate directly with such kind of associations.
Step by step, people are starting to realize the value of partnerships and working together. So we asked the question, would you like to form an alliance, an African Shea alliance, making Shea more visible, creating more market?
Uganda, you should say something. I think the idea of the alliance is very important because why I'm here and probably why I'm almost alone is that we have been at that extreme of the rural community. We are trying to come up, and an alliance would help.
I think we have practically agreed to have an alliance. So we should just let it roll.
This is something that every person in the shea industry sees as a benefit and wants to hold hands, even though they're competitors, and work towards creating a better shea industry.
My name is I am the Buyer Linkages Advisor for the West Africa Trade Hub based in New York City. I'm literally the link between the West African producers and buyers on the western side, US and Europe. It's really important for shea butter producers to come to these trade shows themselves because they interact with the buyers and their target clients for their products and really get an idea of what the industry is looking for. For example, Gladys here is a producer of finished products in Ghana. She's here because we're able to sponsor the space at this trade show, allow her to find distributors for her product, and hopefully people that will retail her product on the US market as well.
In the beginning, I just used to buy the shea butter and then make the product. But when I first met West Africa Trader through the workshops and conferences, we actually learned how to produce shea butter from the start to finish the right way so that it will meet the export market and the international market. And since then, I don't have any problems with my market. They actually found me a buyer, and they keep doing that. They keep bringing people from all over who are interested in natural products that are very well made. The most important thing as an entrepreneur, you must have a purpose and passion in life. And if you realize that your purpose is benefiting the lives of other people, you now start loving your work. Since the international market really appreciates my products, it's become part of me.